What does that sound, you ask?
From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host Gold in mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Yeah, what is going on, everybody? What is up? Happy to hear y'all, see y'all back, man. Once again, everybody's alive and kicking, man. I hope everybody's caught their blessings and not their problems. It's a good day, man. I hope, this week was good to everybody. And I want to say welcome to everybody that's listening right now, man. Welcome. If this is your first time or you're returning to the podcast, man, thank you for spending 1 second of your time listening to this podcast, man, to sharing it on your social media platforms and websites and all that stuff, man. It means the world, man. Y'all definitely putting a battery in my back for the whole year, man. So thank y'all, man. Yo, right now you're listening to Around the Block, a new track by the one and only Phil Spector, available on Spotify. I'm gonna link it down in the description of the show, man. This joint is inspired by his favorite 90s boom bap producers such as Pete Rock, man. So yo, shout out to Phil Spector. Philly, stand up. But yo, we are definitely going to get right into it. We are going to Los Angeles, California by way of Orlando, Florida, man. We're linking up with somebody that's, rubbed elbows with some of beat culture's best, you know what I'm saying? And we had a good conversation this show, man. So I hope y'all enjoy it, man. Let me introduce him, man. He is a beat maker. He's an audio engineer, man. He's a sound developer, man. He's a coder, man. He creates VSTs, man. Man, he develops sound packs. He does it all, man. And I'm honored to have him on the show, man, and keep building this platform for mutants like this individual, man. So without further ado, I want y'all to give it up and welcome to the Rec Show podcast, the one and only Ya Boy Pax. Welcome Ya Boy Pax to the show. Yo, we'll be back with the interview, man. We had a great interview, man. I hope y'all enjoy it, man. Like this. Leave a comment on your DSPs and stuff too, man, so we can get people noticing about this. And thank y'all. Enjoy. Peace and love you.
I love the last episode. Shout out to Rex Mason and pretty much all of them. Man, everybody that's been on here been crazy. The Mons Rock episode, the DiBiase episode. I mean, everybody's been a great listen. So thanks, shout out to you, and thanks for having me on. I feel honored.
Oh man, it's my honor, man. Thank you, man. Yo, and everybody, he just mentioned some dope ass episodes too, man. So y'all go ahead and check them out, man. Like, yo, man, I was geeking out over those episodes too, and I'm gonna geek out today too, just because I've been following your music for a couple years now, man. I've been seeing you on the YouTube tutorials. I've been seeing you on the IG, just teaching people different techniques and how to create music and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, let me ask if he wants to be on the show for 2023, man. You graciously said yes. So, yo, I appreciate your time, man. I'm honored to have you on the show. For those that don't know, and I already gave them just a little bit of, who you are in the intro, but who is Ya Boy Pax? Like, where you from? What's your name mean? Like, how'd your name get created? What affiliations do you have as well?
Right. I'll start with, I'm born and raised in Orlando, East Orlando, Florida, Union Park area. And my name, your boy Pax, is actually my name. My name is Paxton, and my dad's middle name was Pax. It's just like a family name. So I kind of go by Pax, go by Paxton. Your boy Pax is just kind of who I am, kind of, your friend Pax is the idea, your boy. But yeah, I'm from Florida. I came out here to Los Angeles about a year and some change ago, maybe like 2 almost. And kind of on accident, we were just, me and my girlfriend were on the road, and we were just staying in different places. 2021, it was just that kind of time. And, we came here, and I've always been a big fan of the beat scene here. And so I just saw what that looked like really now, and just couldn't leave, to be honest. It's also just a beautiful place. I love to be here anyway. It's one of my favorite cities just to like live in, be in, and then linked up with everybody that's there now. And, the guys that you've had on the show, really everybody, Taki, and I don't know if you got Naj ahead, fucking, who knows, T-Dot, another one.
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
Been on the show, bro. Yeah,
right.
man.
And then, so those are the people I see now, and it's I've been welcomed with open arms here, but I've been doing it for a minute. Even back in Florida, there's a whole crew of people here, which I don't know. Did you have Bundo on? Was that?
Yeah, I had Bundo on too, man.
Yeah, Bundo. Yeah, me again. Same thing. Bundo was a buddy of mine he lives in Orlando, in like Kissimmee. Shout out to him and the Hogleg crew, the people that we do shows with down there in Orlando, Florida, and Chill Tapes, the label. That's really where I got my start, was down there, back before I hit the road.
Dope, yo. Yeah, man. Bundo has been on the show, man, and I want to send prayers to him, man. I know he's we talked the other day, and he was like talking about his health. He's having some issues right now, so y'all send y'all love and prayers. Check on the homie Bundo, man. And yeah, man, he said he's working his way back right now too. So he said he's working his way back slowly but surely every day. So yeah, hit Bundo up. Let him know you're thinking about him, man. And for everybody that you named, Naja Head, Tiki, like all of those, when I first started this podcast, man, these guys said yes to the show, man. And I was like, yo, these guys are killers on the beats, man. They just good, genuine people as well. And I was like, yo, man, like, okay, I might be on to something, man, because, you know what I mean? If they're saying yes to the show, and their episodes are still climbing, like every day. Every day. Like, I don't check on the stats often, but every day everybody's episodes is chatting. So as long as I, keep promoting and stuff like that. But yo, LA is crazy with the beat scene.
It's amazing. I mean, those guys seeing them every weekend, really. I mean, we hang out and just we'll be doing beat shows even if there's not like a real venue, but just the opportunity to see, these people in low key, venues and in high key venues and places downtown. And then, me and T-Dot do a show out in Ontario in a warehouse. And so getting to see people, throwing down. And so I'm going tomorrow down to Burgers and Beats. Flipabeatclub is going on right now in San Pedro as we speak.
Yeah.
And all these places are places where people like Naj, people like Taki, people like who knows, former guests are there every weekend, every other one. There's someone like that down there, throwing down and doing something crazy you've never heard before,
Yeah, man. Like, I want to check out, like, that's going to be something I'm going to try and do this year is go down there to LA. I'm only in San Antonio, Texas, but I'm going to try and make my way down there and check out every single one of those Burgers and Beats, Organic Beat Sessions, Flipabeatclub, DuckWorld. I'm trying to hit every single.
Yeah, shout out to DuckGirl. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, there's another one that you're associated with as well.
Love Supreme.
Love Supreme. There it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, like all of those, man. I'm gonna ask you about Love Supreme in a minute, but
Oh, for sure.
going in your history right now, I have to ask, like, how did you even begin making music? Like, what was that journey like, the genesis like for you to start creating music?
Well, it was always kind of in me as a kid. Like I felt very. Also, my dad was a musician. He was a guitarist and a front man in a band when I was a kid that played around Orlando. Like my early memories were like not seeing him, and he was playing music downtown in Orlando and getting arrested and in and out of jail during that time of my life. So, but the fact that he was always there playing music was like kind of part of my childhood. And my mom's dad was a jazz musician, and it was kind of the same thing. He like lived on the road. And so, yeah, right. But I was different from them because I wasn't really good. I didn't like pick up instruments as a kid. I wasn't really good at it, and I wasn't really into the music and I never knew my mom's dad died when I was really young, and then my dad wasn't really around to teach me things a lot when I was a kid. But I was always in the hip hop, like that always resonated really deeply with me as a really young kid. And I was born in 1997, so when I was like 5 or 6, it was like the days of like Eminem and like 50 Cent, like Get Rich or Die Trying was like my early stuff. And even at that time, like the 90s wasn't that far away. Like they still played throwbacks on the radio of like classic hip hop and stuff like that. It was really around me when I was a kid, and I really identified with it, and I got really into it. But I think that it really took a turn. I think when I was about 11, I was listening to something on the radio that I wanted to get a CD for. That was like, my birthday presents was like getting like CDs and stuff. And my mom would take me to go like Best Buy or something and get like a, $12 CD or whatever. Just like what, if that's something I wanted. And like, I bought a CD. It was like Jibs or something. Like it was garbage. It was just like I had to get edited ones. She wouldn't buy me explicit ones, so it had to be whatever was just there. And I was at my dad's place that he was staying at, and I had that CD. And one of his friends was like, "That's garbage. Don't listen to this anymore." And he put me on to. He gave me like a CD that was like the Beatnuts and Quasimodo crossover called Duck Season, and I never heard it. Like it's hard to find now, but it was like ripped or something. And then I went to the store with my dad, who didn't care if I got explicit CDs or edited CDs, and got like Further Adventures of Lord Quas, and I was like 11 at the time. The Quasimodo tape, and then a bunch of like classic hip hop, Illmatic, the Enter the 36 Chambers, like whatever I wanted. And I got a big stack of CDs, and that changed for like the rest of my life. I was like, this is kind of what I wanted to do, whether it was rapping or eventually getting into beats. And then from there, from the Quasimodo, like kind of influence, that Madlib influence, I just fell in love with Madlib. Really, it was big. And then, I learned about J Dilla through Madlib, and then, Flying Lotus kind of came out around that time. It's like 2010 or something. And I was in like 7th grade, 8th grade. That's like when I first kind of heard of that just idea. And I mean, I've latched onto it, and ever since I've been trying to figure out how to recreate that and how to get there, that like early Flying Lotus, late Madlib kind of time period. And it's kind of slowly I've slowly figured out how to do it over the last decade, basically.
Wow.
Now with it.
Wow, you got a very very interesting genesis to your whole music creation journey, man. You said you've been doing it for maybe what, 10, 11, 12 years or more?
No, I think I started learning, trying to figure it out probably 8 years ago, I think.
Okay.
So 2014, whenever that was, 9 years maybe.
Yeah.
But that's when I started, that's when I got Ableton, was like, okay, I'm going to fit in. Of course, the first things you make are like, just like how to make dubstep, how to make trap music, just trying to figure out the DAW. And it's taken until like, recently, until I feel like I'm actually making what I was trying to figure out how to do back when I was a kid,
Yeah, bro. Yeah, like when we're gonna talk about the Great American Rap Park Experiment, man. I gotta ask you about that album, man, because yo, that shit is. Oh man, you know what? Let me go back to my questions, man, because I can go in on just the albums, man. But so okay, yo, so shout out to your genesis, the people that were around you, putting you on to music, subconsciously, consciously, like just putting you onto good music, man, and then you taking it and like, yo, I want to create something, but sticking with it also to be like, you know what, I can't make what the big names are making. I'm gonna just quit. Maybe I'm not supposed to do it, type of thing. But you stuck with it, man. Like, what do you say, like, to somebody that may be struggling with that right now? To they may be doing it for a few years and they just haven't got to create what they want to create or what they're trying to create. Like, where's that fortitude come from?
Straight up, I tell them you're thinking about it the wrong way, because there's no time period, and it's not something that you'll ever feel like you ever got down. It's not like you're like, okay, by the end of the year, I'm going to sound like Flying Lotus. That's just not like a real goal. Like, that's not the way that you should think about it. And it's like, I think people get fucked up because they think like, oh, well, I'm not the type of person that knows how to do this, or I'm not like a music, like I'm not already doing it, so that means I can't do it. But really, it's just like, first of all, it takes a long time to learn how to do anything really and understand it. It could take decades really to master something. Like, I don't think anyone I know is really a full master at their craft. They're still learning, even the greats, right? But even then, it's like, I was never, like, I got an English major in college. Like, I was in like English classes and like history classes in high school. I didn't really do math, or like, I didn't learn any computer science at all. I didn't think I was going to ever do that. I didn't really know that that was like something I could do. I didn't think it was something I could do. And, a week ago, I released a plugin. And right now I have like 2 books in front of me that are like C++ and DSP, designing audio effects in C++. But it's like, if you looked at me now, you would think, oh, he was probably always good at math. He probably always was into computer science. And he kind of, and then he figured out how to make plugins. But it's not the case. I just decided one day, it's like, oh, this is something I should do and I want to do. And then I just know that it's a long road in front of me. But if I keep doing it, eventually I'll figure it out, And I think people get fucked up on music because they don't realize how hard it is. It's really easy to make really simple music. So there's a lot of like instant feedback that you don't get in other stuff with like code or anything else. Like, it doesn't work if it's not good. But music, you can do something really simple and you're like, oh, I did it. I figured it out. And then people don't realize it's like, no, it takes a decade to really understand how to make really good music. It doesn't just happen, and I'm not even there yet. No, like, it takes a long time.
Right. Yo, that's a perfect explanation, man. To the way that you think people are thinking about creating music. That's what you need to shift. As far as, you're not going to figure it out right now. Just keep chipping away, man. Just keep chipping away, keep experimenting, keep trying different things.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like a science. Like, if you just follow the rules and you just like do tutorials, you're not really learning. You kind of have to be patient with yourself and be like childlike and experiment and just kind of play with things and see what happens over a long period of time. That's how we learn how to talk. That's how we learn how to do everything. is when we're kids, just kind of like not knowing what we're even saying, but just talking anyways.
Nice, man. Yo, so that brings me to my next question is now I know you said your dad, I think you said your stepdad?
My dad, my real dad.
Oh, your real dad. Okay. So
Yeah.
you got your real dad, and then who put you on to like Quasimodo, Wu-Tang, like all of those albums?
It was that sort of this was also like the internet was still around, so like I think it was that moment where I was listening to just the radio, just whatever rap was on the radio. I loved ever since I could understand that it was music, from when I was like a young kid to like whatever. And it was that experience of like getting those CDs. But then after that, it was me digging on the internet, and I would just like look up like top 100 songs of the 90s basically, and just go and just like listen to every single. And I just got like obsessed with like golden era hip hop music, like really just from like 1988 to 1997, pretty much. Like I was just like, I studied it for years. But my influences too have always been like the stuff that's around me too, because like I said, like music was just like a big part of my life. Like whenever I was with my dad, that's the one thing we did together was just listen to music. He put on CDs, and he's into metal and 90s rock and alternative and stuff like that. He was in like a Tool kind of band when I was a kid. So him, my mom always listening to music. My sister put me on to a lot of stuff. My sister's about 2 or 3 years older than me, and she put me on to MF Doom, actually, because this was like 2010, 2009. I was in like middle school, maybe like early high school, maybe. Mm-hmm. And she had, this was still in the days of like CDs, so everyone still had like, rips of whatever. Mm-hmm. And like when we were young, it was like a crunk mix, like, with Lil Jon and stuff on it. And then the older we got, it ended up being like, oh, her friend gave her this, and it's like something with like, I just remember it was like Mad Villain songs, a couple off of there, like a couple A$AP Rock songs, and a couple just like underground hip hop shit that was current at the time, like Atmosphere and stuff like that, and like Cool Calm Pete, like real just like in the cut stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was stuff like that, like bootleg CDs, and then ordering CDs online and like buying CDs and shit like that, and ripping stuff off the internet.
Nice. I remember ripping. I had BearShare, man. So I remember getting a lot of music off of BearShare. I mean, my computer had viruses after that, but
I destroyed the family computer before, like everybody did.
Right. We didn't even know though. Like we was just, we just wanted the music. Yeah. That was the most important thing was.
It was like, it's like, I need that indaclub.exe download on my computer now.
Right. Crazy times, man. Those are, I wouldn't, those are crazy times, man. But okay, so listen, so you got the whole fam listening to stuff, putting you on, sister. Shout out to everybody. Yeah. Shout out to mom. Yeah. Shout out to, your sister. What's that moment in time like when you were like creating and you were like, okay, this might be the day that I can finally put out a single or an album? Like what was that like?
So that I went to college for a year in Jackson, Mississippi, and it was a pretty like big mistake on my part to even do that in the first place. It's not that there's anything wrong with Jackson. It's a cool place, but it wasn't a place for me to be. But I was putting out stuff on like SoundCloud, just like early beats that I had, and then I left there and I went back to Florida to go to school cheaply, and I went to Florida State, which was kind of like just crazy experience. It's not really a real academic environment. It's a great place to fuck around, and that's when I really got into rapping, recording rappers, just making beats for people, and really into the who's rapping in Tallahassee scene, which was just it could have been anybody. I mean, so that was like 16, 17. I think I put out a rap album. I started recording kids, and that's when I got my chops of like learning how to record, how to mix, stuff like that. It was just for free. So I would have kids that were like 16 years old that were just like local, young go-hards in Tallahassee that were just like over at my apartment. And me and my roommates, we were like selling drugs at the time. So it was just a fun experience and a fun time to like just not really have a lot of real responsibilities and get to, do Xanax and make beats and record for like days on days on days at a time. So that's when I really started putting stuff out. And a lot of that stuff I ended up taking down just because of the things I said, like when I was rapping, I'm not really proud of, And I decided like if I'm ever going to have my voice like out on the internet again, it's like I just want to be like more serious about what I say. Like not that it has to be serious, but it just has to be good. It can't be just like, fuck on your bitch, hey,
Crazy, yeah,
shit.
crazy stuff.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like 2017 music, it's just
I got you.
so that's when I started releasing stuff. But my first like real tape that I'm proud of came probably 2019. Those are my earliest releases. So again, not that long ago, really, until I felt like I was really making any good music, because I was already like 5 years into making it. I had been making it, but that was the first time I was like, okay, let's put this stuff like out there and like get behind it. And I think that's when I made Instagram. It was like 2018, 2019. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing with my life. I'm kind of dedicating to this. I'm going to figure out the things I haven't figured out yet, and I'm going to take it seriously. I think I was graduating FSU. I was on probation at the time for something. So I was sober for the first time ever, pretty much, and since in my life for a year. And I was like, I got dedicated, and I've made Places and Panacea. Places being my first like real beat tape, and Panacea being like my earliest rap that's still out there.
Okay, nice, man. Yo, so you really been experiencing life. I mean, taking the lumps, taking the wins, everything like that, but still finding time to create what you want to create, man. Like that's commendable, first of all, because sometimes we get caught up in life stuff, like life happens, and sometimes it can either pull us down and keep us there if we let it. But you decide, you know what, man, I don't want to put crazy stuff out there for for everything and everybody to listen to and stuff like that. That's not good. So that mentality right there, like where's that come from?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, self-hatred. It's like what every artist has, where you're like, oh man, like everything I made last year is garbage. Everything I'm making right now is awesome. Just that, I don't know what it is, but I was like, there had to be like, starting then, I was like, okay, the level of quality, I'm never making anything, I'm never putting out anything from now on that just like sounds shitty in the recording, and just like, what is mastering? Like, how do I make it, everything like sound even the same level or whatever? Like, what is mixing? Like, that's when I started to figure out the benchmarks that everything had to be at from then on. I don't know where that comes from. I think it's self-hatred. I think it's literally just like you're not good enough, and telling yourself that.
I mean, and it's not even like in a bad way, the way we're talking about it. It's really, holding yourself to a higher standard for,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
For everybody that's going to be listening to this, like, it's not that we're talking about him like hating himself, like for real. Like, we've seen people that really hate themselves and talk to themselves crazy, in an evil way, you know what I'm saying? But it's really just holding yourself and your craft, honing your craft to a higher standard that you want to present to the world. That's what it is, yo.
Right.
So
exactly.
So that brings me to my next question, man. Like, you listen to a lot of amazing music. You know what I mean? You was looking at top 100s, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, yeah.
if you're able to, man, can you name that one beat or that one song that kind of just blew your mind to, even want to create music, yo?
I think it's like if you ask me that question at different parts of my life or like different months even, like I'll probably have a different answer. But I think the one I can think of is that album, that Further Adventures of Lord Quas. I think I think it's the second track is Greenery. And that beat is like one of my favorites of all time. I mean, I'll still throw it in a set every now and then just because I like to hear it played out. And I think that was the one where I was like, man, this is just so unique and special and different and not just what's on the radio. It's so much of an experiment. And I would just play it for everybody, like kids, like private school kids that just like would have never listened to any underground hip hop, but would just break their necks to that song because it's just so good. It's unstoppable to not, start banging your head a little bit. I think that one. I also told you, like, what you put up on your Instagram, like, what are the albums, like that album that really got you into making, like, where you were saying, oh, I want to make this, and it was Cosmogramma, Flying Lotus for me.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's another one where it was like, maybe even like the Reset EP or something. But whatever that era where I was like, oh, that's it. That's what I want to make.
Yeah, I wish I was like really into beats at that time, man, because man, that was a crazy time when those albums came out, and they inspired so many people from all over, different walks of life, all that type of stuff, man. So speaking of that, man, I gotta ask you, and we have a lot of mutants that listen to the show. When I say mutants, I mean these mutants that just create amazing music that are not from the normal world. You know what I'm saying? Different planets.
Planet Namek.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, shout out Tatsumaki. Yeah.
Yeah, Tatsumaki, man. So I gotta ask you this. They're going through their own musical journey, but you've been inspired by something that you've either read, something that you watched, something that you listened to. Can you make any recommendations on something that they like should watch, should listen to, or should read on their journey?
Hey, I'm reading right now. I'm reading Rick Rubin's book. It just came out, where I thought it was like, I saw him like kind of going on a podcast tour and talking about it and shit like that. And I pre-ordered it. I thought it was going to be about production, like in a kind of a general sense, like, because he's always wanted a job I've really wanted it, or he's got a job that I've always kind of wanted to do, which is like not beatmaker producer. Also, you know what I mean? Like where you're getting the right people in the right rooms together with the right stuff that's written down and being like, okay, let's make this cool. So I thought it was going to be about that, but what it's really about is like the act of creativity and like how you can see yourself as an artist and be creative continuously and like reliably, and sort of like ideas of how to tap into that source that, when it feels like something's kind of, you're not creating something, but it's just like God speaking through you kind of thing, like source speaking through you. That's what the book is about. So it's about, techniques of how to, and it's cool. It's like exactly what I think, anybody that does anything creative could benefit from that perspective. Because it's a lot of like what I was saying earlier about, just thinking about yourself in a different way, not putting pressure on yourself, not having goals. Really, I don't think you should set goals, but more just like set like habits, like set practices. Like, don't focus on getting 100,000 streams, focus on making something that's really, really good. And if it's really, actually really, really good, you'll see people respond to it. And of course, like everybody I know, their least favorite song is their most streamed song. I mean, some of my like most streamed songs are not my favorite songs. But even with that being said, like I know what my best stuff is, and I know what my best songs are, and I'm proud of myself for having made them. And so like that's kind of the idea of the book, Rick Rubin's book, is how to tap into that, making something for the sake of it, not for, because you have to get this album out, or because you have to do this thing or whatever, or because you want to make X, Y music or whatever,
Nice. So is that the book called The Creative Act, A Way of Being? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, I'm gonna link that in the description of the show as well, man, for everybody that's gonna that's listening to the show. A Creative Act, A Way of Being. So that's what you're reading, right? So did you have any videos, any documentaries, any podcasts that you can recommend that they listen to in order to, kind of guide them?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of good, like, I don't know about creatively, but technically, I mean, there's a lot of good directions I can point people in because, I think we should all get better as much as we can. Slowly drops in the bucket with, like, everything technical, so, like, mixing and engineering and editing and things like that. So I guess in that sense, like good resources are like Dan Warhol. For anybody that doesn't know him, he's a great resource. He made all the YouTube tutorials for FabFilter on how to use the FabFilter product line. But he also has a channel where he goes into real niche stuff with audio software, DAW tools, mixing ideas, like really, really detailed and really high level stuff. And on top of that, he's got, what is compression, what is EQ, sort of like an intro to compression, intro to EQ, intro to saturation kind of tutorials. Also, podcasts. I listen to Recording Studio Rockstars, which is another one that's about the recording industry, and like it's just a bunch of different mixing engineers and recording engineers kind of talking about the mic techniques that they use, the gear they use, the equipment, and stuff like that. Let me think of there's other ones. There's the Mastering Podcast. There's another one. I think it's Ian Shepherd's podcast. He talks about mastering techniques and has different engineers on and stuff like that. And then for like, I guess Ableton tutorials, man, I learned a lot of stuff about Ableton specifically during the time period I told you about, where I was trying to get serious about, the quality of my music. I think I got really into Mr. Bill, who's more like, he makes a lot of bass music, a lot of like dubstep and stuff like that, and stuff that, I'm not necessarily sitting down and make, rhythm bangers and dubstep and stuff like that. But the way he approaches using the DAW and sound design in Ableton and stuff like that has really, really been influential on my production style. Like he does a lot of sound design just kind of for the sake of it, and then we'll record or resample stuff just kind of fucking around with no idea, and then use those sounds and reinterpolate them back into a beat with a rhythm and stuff like that. So that's another resource.
And that's really, really using everything, repurposing, seeing if it fits in different things. Is that how you create your music as well? Because I hear a lot of texture and a lot of different like, spacey, like, man, it's when I listen to your music, I'm like, man, like I need to just be like not doing anything just so I can just lay back and listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, shit. The idea though, like, is like, I want to make something where you can't go. Even though I use a lot of samples too, and I'll sample experimental music and deep ambient tracks and stuff like that. But the idea is like, I don't want somebody to listen to this and go, oh, that's a piano sequence of this, and like that's like just a sine wave, or that's just a saw wave or something like that. Like, but just be like, what the fuck is that sound? And how does it, like, the atonalness of it and the arrhythmicness of it, like, how does that make the beat just like this crazy thing you wouldn't think about? And that process is just, I'll get into like weird niche software, like granular, like even my plugin, like if you go in the granular mode and you just start twisting knobs around, you're going to take whatever the input is to that and kind of mangle it and turn it into nonsense. And so I'll sit there with like Sonic Photos, another one. It takes like a picture and it'll turn it into FFT, just like it'll recreate it into a sound. There's like a Mission Control, which is a granular software that you load files into. And so I'll just sit down with like shit and just kind of twist knobs and stuff like that, and then record it all, and then that's what I'll contextualize. And like even like my sample packs, like the Texture Hop series, a lot of the stuff that I get in there is from just fucking around with Super Collider or some other, Pure Data or something, and then seeing what I get out of it, and then being like, okay, well, that'll just go in the pack. But taking those things that don't make sense and then contextualizing them into hip hop, into beats, into like electronic music is that's my whole thing for the most part.
Nice.
Now.
Yo. So I when speaking of that, man, yeah, texture packs, man, I gotta ask you, what the fuck is texture hop? You got a playlist on Spotify, man. Like, what is?
Oh yeah, what the fuck is
texture? What the fuck is texture hop?
Yeah, that's a little bit of that is like just kind of it's like I want you to like Google what the fuck is texture hop, or like look it up so that you get to texture hop volume 1 through 7, my sample pack series. It's $1 to $2 on Bandcamp, out right now, kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like the sound that I'm talking about. That's not like anything I created or anything I came up with. It's not at all. It's that going back to like the Flying Lotus sound, that early mixing of experimental music, textural music, and hip hop. It's like beats, but it's not just beats with a jazz sample. It's beats with this textural element that is all my favorite songs. Even current guys like Foisey, Doc Kim is another one with that kind of sound. People like Ashtray Jenkins, who does make crazy techno and crazy experimental music too. But it's like that was sort of me trying to reverse engineer their sound is where I got to the idea of like texture hop. So you buy the texture hop sample packs, that's me giving you tools that aren't going to be in other sample packs, that aren't just melodies and bass lines and kicks and snares, but they're, noise textures and little like effects loops and just other things that are dustier and dirtier and more experimental, just not your typical thing.
I got you. And for everybody that don't know, and I'm a link your website in the description of the show as well, man. Because I'm listening to like the texture packs and everything like that. I'm like, I can use that. I can use that. Oh, all right. Yeah. I got them on my wish list right now. I got like maybe 5 packs on my wish list right now. So I'm gonna hit it up soon, real soon, man. But speaking
they're real cheap, man. They're real affordable.
Right. They're not even expensive, man, and they sound good too, as well, man. So I don't know if you were like, did you do the processing of the sounds and all that stuff before you package it up?
Yeah, that's I did an internship for a sample pack company too a couple years ago, and I learned They fucking suck, by the way. No one you know, no one you heard of. Honestly, fuck that guy on some other shit. But no, but it's like I did learn a lot about, just making sure shit is trimmed and edited and like, the right volume, batch processing, batch loudnessing and stuff like that. Adobe Audition is a good resource for that. If people make, sample packs and things, you can edit individual sounds and then batch loudness them and stuff like that. So yeah, that is important. That like almost mastering of the sample pack is something that I do to them. Rat Park Experiment.
Rat Park, there it is. That came out in 2022. But then you also have like albums from like 2020, 2021, 3 a.m. in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, those
Green
are
Gardens. Yeah, man. And then you also been a part of some dope albums as well from Chill Select. So
the compilations.
Yeah, compilations, Comfy Bumps and Free Rice Volume 1, which is one of my favorite compilations from Chill Selects.
Bundo's track on Free Rice. Yeah, that was a Chill Tapes one.
Yeah, man. So tell me about that whole, how that worked out. Like, how did you link with Chill Select?
Chill Select really was through Instagram submissions. I mean, that's really like, I've kind of cooled off on that now because you don't always get control over the aesthetic of the tape and the way it comes out and the way the album art looks. And, sometimes those are your most like played tracks. So sometimes you have stuff that you're like, oh man, I didn't co-sign on that fucking cover, whatever. But a lot of those a lot of those labels are great people to work with, man. I mean, it's just an easy submission process. I think a lot of them are on Discord now. And that's kind of that's why I haven't really been on them in a minute. It's just because I just fucking hate Discord. It's just not my thing. I'm not going to sit there and hang out on there.
Right.
It's just who I am. But at the same time, but those labels are, Chill Select is one of those labels that, they'll take submissions from anybody. And you end up on tapes with people from around the world who are they're cool people, and Lo-Fi Losers was one, I think Raven Rapids in Australia. It was like I was on a compilation with him years ago, and Splashes was on that compilation. Shout out to him. And now, he makes the covers for Love Supreme. He makes the artwork for the flyers and shit like that. And, all those early compilations had people on that, later on, 4 or 5 years later, you end up rubbing elbows with somebody that you're like, wait a minute, weren't you on fucking, Comfy Bums Volume 1 or something like that? So it's a cool wave that I got put on to a lot of people that I was like, oh, who's this? And then I'm on Instagram and shit like that. We're both on the same compilation. Maybe we're on the next one. Next thing they're in town and need a place to crash and you guys play a show together or something like that. Like, they just end up being, somebody you forget it's a real person. So that was all those compilations. I'm really grateful for everyone they put me on. That's been my most streamed stuff, most, listened to stuff. And then Chill Tapes, those are the guys in Florida. So that's Jade Koth and YG Hypnos. And so that was really my home label when I was down there. And, they're not putting out a lot of stuff right now, but still they have a catalog of real great music from, like real, just great beat makers in Florida and around Florida. And I played a couple shows this year with people that were on the Chill Tapes compilation fucking 3 or 4 years ago that I didn't know at the time. And now, I've played a show with them in real life in some venue out here in California.
Great American Rat Park Experiment. Man, that name,
Yeah.
the artwork. I'm still trying to read the top words in the cover art. It says you can just something.
You can just feel it here.
There, that's what it is. I'm like, I'm racking my brain. Like, what does that say? Tell me about this album, man, because this is a journey album, man. I put this on and I'm driving, and you can, like, I had to run it back like 3 or 4 times on the drive. It's so good, man. Like, tell me about this album, man.
I appreciate it. That was that was my album for 2021. It was a really weird time in my life because obviously it's a weird time for everybody. It's a fucking pandemic, right? So everybody's just kind of in this real chaotic, crazy. I mean, 2020 and 2021 were crazy years,
right.
Just in general. So that kind of like craziness was really palpable just everywhere in the country, right? And this was after my good friend from for 10 years. I mean, really one of my like early middle school friends that I grew up with that, we hadn't really been talking recently because of one thing or another, but really someone that I was best friends with, for a long time, for years and years and years and years, and was super close with, had just died, right? This was like March 2021. This was Cord Davis. And that's when it just all happened to where me and my girlfriend were already going to go kind of on the road and travel. So we quit our jobs and we were doing month stays in Airbnbs across the country. And we went to one in Arkansas, we were in northern Wisconsin, Milwaukee, we went to Utah, and then we came to California, and then we ended up staying. But that's right after Cord died. And then when we kind of stopped traveling was when probably one of my closest friends ever, honestly, someone that I was really close to at the time, I had just stayed with them, was Sean Hempstead. That's when he died, was like right when we got back. So in between those two times was like this crazy sort of, in between those two deaths was this sort of crazy time period in my life where I was in all these different places in the country, all these different environments, kind of just like understanding America in a real different way that I didn't really ever get to see before, and it got me thinking about just life and, what it means to be alive and stuff like that. And so the Rat Park experiment is like actually a real experiment that they did when they had rats in a cage that they were giving cocaine, right? These experiments where the rat was, if you gave cocaine to a rat and gave him the opportunity to push down and like get a little bit of cocaine, he would just do it until he's dead, basically. And so they put rats in a cage, and if they introduced cocaine or any kind of drug that had a narcotic like eventual death to it, like, so they did it with heroin too, and the rats would basically just do it until they died. And people countered that experiment by going like, okay, this is a stupid idea because it's a rat in a cage. Of course he's going to do that. And they put the rats in what they called the Rat Park. So the Rat Park was like this kind of wonderland for rats. They got a bunch of them in there. They had toys to play with and stuff like that. It was more like their natural environment. They got to fuck, they got to drink water and have food, whatever. Like, so it was like a real life. And then when they introduced the cocaine and heroin or whatever it was, the rats didn't really give a shit. They would do it, but they didn't do it until they died. So it was just sort of this time period where I'm looking at the whole country, the way it's set up, the way it's built, and thinking about my friends, one of them who overdosed and another one who took his own life, and just sort of thinking about like just how that experiment relates to us and how, we keep ourselves alive by, and we keep ourselves from, sort of overindulging by experiencing our environment around us and interacting with it in a healthy way. So that was kind of the idea of the album.
And it was like every song is almost like me in a different place of the country, just seeing how this whole country is a little rat park, basically, where we're just trying to stay alive and keep going. And there's all these things to do. And it's almost like the country's trying to keep us all alive by like letting us live life and not just, locking us down and shit like that, or how we dealt with lockdowns and stuff like that. So it's not really like, there's no metaphor, there's not like a one-to-one analogy for anything, but that's just sort of the idea, is that experiment, and then like look at America and being like, what the fuck is this place? Like, what are we doing here?
Wow.
So your first psychotic break in Denver was one of the songs. That was just us being in Denver and being like, this place is fucking bananas. Like, it just has a weird, crazy energy, because everyone on the streets had just moved there and was super excited about it, or was like in the middle of an overdose at the moment. It just felt like the amount of people that were just psychotic was insane. Which Los Angeles is very similar to that. It's a lot of places where, people are, on the verge of like, a complete breakdown in the middle of the street at any moment. So like, that was just me going through Denver for a couple of days. That's just what I noticed, So that's every little song on that is kind of a glimpse into that.
Wow. Yo, we got super deep, man. These are the conversations I love, man. Because like, if somebody was to like put this on, they would not understand like the full background of you creating this album, man. But now you kind of like, now I listened to it, and now getting the story from you firsthand, now I'm gonna go back, let's do it again. And because I've been thinking about shit since the pandemic, man, just the way it was handled, just the way we treated each other, like all that type of stuff.
Right.
Yo, man, for everybody.
And now we're back in real life. Yeah, it's like we forget about it. It's like, no, it was pretty fucking crazy,
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's a crazy thing that you said that about Denver, because I thought about living there, and then I was like, nah, something might not be right about that place.
Yeah. No, I thought about living there too. That's before we came here. So we went to Denver, and me and my girlfriend are like, do we stay here? And then we looked around and we're like, everybody's doing this. What is this place? Like, and also the High Plain is such a weird place, where it's just endless nothing. And then the Rockies, something about it is kind of trippy.
Right.
Especially when you're doing mushrooms and going to see a black box. I didn't even know about that venue. It's a lot of like crazy bass music. We did mushrooms and saw a bunch of crazy, and so it just amplified that feeling of like, okay, this place is fucking out of control. I can't stay here.
Yo, man. Yo, I'm glad you and your girl were aware of the energy, and just looking at, traveling through America, you see all of this stuff. You know what I mean? You're not just seeing it on Instagram or Twitter or on the news. You actually, with your own eyes, man, are witnessing what's happening in different states of the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So,
man, I'm glad y'all had that experience, yo.
Yeah, learn about history too, and just like the way the cities were built. And you never, because we're doing Airbnbs, I had never been to a lot of these cities. So, you stay a month in one place where you're like, oh, this is crazy. And you stay a month in a different neighborhood in a different city. And you're like, why don't I feel that great about the city? And it's like, oh, because, this neighborhood is historically disenfranchised. You know what I mean? So we're just staying here in this, just anywhere. But now we're staying in a month in this city from a perspective that I might not have seen growing up, because I never lived in a neighborhood that was like this or something. So we got to, kind of walk a mile in different people's shoes 1 month at a time in different places. Cause we went from, the real inner city of Milwaukee to Paradise, Utah. which is out in the middle of nowhere, where our neighbors did like DIY rodeo shit. Like they had rodeo every Friday where people were riding the bulls and stuff like that. Everybody in a damn cowboy hat. So that was like educational. You know, you don't grow up with that knowledge.
Right.
Most people don't.
Right. Yo, man. That's yo, man, you just different perspectives and stuff like that. I love learning about y'all's journeys, yo. I gotta ask this question, man. We gonna bring the mood back up just a little bit.
Yeah, right.
give it some thought, right? So, okay, as a kid, and now as a big kid, right? Can you name like your top 5 beat makers, you know what I mean, of all time, yo, for you as a kid and then right now as an adult? And it could be any genre. There's no genre restriction or anything like that, yo.
It's hard. I mean, the top 2 are always my real North Stars are going to be Flying Lotus and J Dilla, and it sounds, you know, like, okay, yeah, we know that.
Who cares? Yo, that's
Exactly.
That's yours. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really the North Star, where it's like, if I'm not doing something really textured and layered and complicated, like a great Flying Lotus track, then I'm like, okay, but does it groove like a, J Dilla beat, where it's just, drums and a Rhodes piano, and it's still is like the greatest song ever. So them 2 are on it, Madlibs on it, and then it's so many people I can name, honestly. Like, fuck, I mean, top 5 of all time, though, like, influential. I don't know, because it all jumbles up, because I'm all thinking about Beatmakers. Like, I just think of people right now, man. I just think of like guys like fucking Foisey has got to be one of my favorite fucking Beatmakers, like one of my favorite people to just listen to straight up, honestly. Who else is like on that crazy list? Man, this is hard. I'm not gonna, it's like hard. Ross G is like somewhere on the list. You know, he was another person I was like, I had seen about, I was learning about Los Angeles before I had even known that it was even a possibility that I would ever end up there ever in my life. I'm in high school learning about Ross G. Honestly, there's some other influences that are outside of like beats music. Like, I think when I was in high school, a lot of like the drug music we used to listen to was like Cohen sound was a big influence in high school. That was like a lot of what I listened to in Excision was like a live thing. 8th grade, freshman, no, maybe not 8th grade, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, every year we went to see Excision at the House of Blues in Orlando. And it's, it's dubstep, but it's like that idea of just, we would go and scream like it was metal and like, smash our heads because it was just so much bass music, so much wattage and stuff like that. And Flume, another one, just for his like sort of introducing sound design techniques that now we take for granted, but like weren't really, like popular. A lot of people weren't doing them, and then he did it, and then everybody started doing it, and then he moved on to something else, and he started doing stuff with granular synths and real crazy distortion, atonal stuff, and then everybody started doing that. And then he, did stuff with like Aphex Twin is another one with like spectral filtering and stuff like that. He did it, then everybody does it. So those are...
He's a trailblazer then.
Yeah, exactly. That's gotta be, there's gotta be 5 in there somewhere. Honestly, fuck, that's not even, Beatmaker, that's not even DJ Premier or anything like that.
Yeah.
We are other influences.
Yeah, you hit your like You hit your 5, man. And like you hit on some people that I didn't even know of. So now I'm gonna go back and do my research on like Flume. I've heard of him. I know I've heard his music, but I probably didn't pay attention to it now that I'm like learning and being a student of music and stuff like that. So Flume, then the other person you said, I'll rewind this and look everybody up, man. But yo, good answers to all of them, man. I gotta ask you about Love Supreme, man, which you are a what does it say you are, like a resident?
Resident.
Yeah, so tell me about Love Supreme, because I know DuckWorld 808 is the one that curates that, and who is that? Kershaw? I think it's Kershaw who's responsible for that,
DuckWorld.
right?
So DuckWorld's different.
No, that's DuckWorld. That's DuckWorld.
Yeah, DuckWorld, and that's Duck Girl is really her and Klopsy. They're partners, and they're both they both do that. A Love Supreme is, myself, T-Dot is really, a driving force behind it, and the ideator of it.
That's
but
the homie.
It's us two. Yeah, us two. Yeah, for real. I mean, one of the nicest goddamn people of all time. But yeah, us two. Then also we're in the topiary. Who I think he came up with the idea for it, and he brought it to T-Dot, and T-Dot really fledged it out. And then it's me, and then Black God is another one. I don't know if you know him.
Black God 9? Yeah, he's been on the show too. Yeah.
Oh, he has? Oh, he's got an episode? Oh, hell yeah. I got to listen to that.
Listen,
yeah.
Bro. I got
he's the man. Yeah.
I got mutants.
Yeah, him, Jetlag Trav, Splash is another person involved, who does our flyer work just for free, just out of love, and just, because he just wants to be a part of it. And, then we have people that we consider residents that don't necessarily live here, but every time they're here, they're going to be on, Thanks You, which he might have been on too, when he was Low Tech.
Yeah, he's been on the show too. I actually got to get him back on, man. He done put out like 200 albums. Like, I got to get him back on.
So our thing is, it's kind of like it's no one's thing. It's no one's, no one's the leader of it, but it's sort of a collective organization that Frank came to us with this space that, I think his wife runs a business out of, but it's just an open warehouse space. And we do shows there where there's an open aux section, so anyone can come up and play beats, sometimes for the first time. And then we have, the residents go up and play. Our loved ones come down and play. There are people from the area. We're having people from Sunday Dinner Records, Wig Flippa, and a couple other people from like Texas and stuff down for this next one. And it's a place for people to come and experiment and play music and not have to deal with a fucking bartender in a venue and stuff like that. We're bringing Modelo's. You can do whatever you want. We're smoking weed in there. We'll have people come and sell weed, that are growing it, So it's a community type of event for people to come and just strictly for the love of beats and beat makers and rappers. Honestly, we're having a lot. It's going to be mostly rappers at the next one. So, but we'll take anyone too. I mean, if people come and play all types of music, and it's the ideas. It's about giving, right, and giving into the pot, and sort of just giving people an opportunity to come and play. And we're trying to find ways to still monetize that, so we can pay people to come out. Honestly, we do. Like, I'd love to be able to give everybody at least $100 minimum just for playing. You know what I mean? But we're finding out ways to sort of, generate something with it. And part of that is tape duplication is something we're doing. We got T-shirts too. You can DM me on Instagram for T-shirts or pick them up at the event.
I need that, bro. Them designs is crazy.
You gotta come down for one.
Man.
If you're only in San Antonio, I mean, shit, it's not too far. I mean, it's far, but it's a trip. But
Yeah.
you should come down to one play at some point.
Oh, I am this year, bro. No worries, man. I love
Oh,
Supreme.
you already been talking about it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've been talking with T Dot, man. So he been like, let's set it up, man. So I was just trying to get everything situated in Texas right now. So I'm close to everything being, you know what I mean, on autopilot right now. So for everybody that don't know what he's talking about, man, I love Supreme CA. That's the I want to say the Instagram. A Love Supreme.
Yeah, the Instagram
CA.
handle. Yeah.
Saturday, the 28th of this year, man. They're going to be in Ontario. Is that California? Yeah, that is California.
Yeah, Ontario, California. Yeah.
Ontario, California. Yeah,
Riverside
man.
County.
The residents. Thank you. T Dot are going to be there. You got the loved ones. Wig Flipper, Roberto, Johnny Unitas, Nanfit. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Nafet.
Yeah, kind of like Prophet, but no.
Ah, okay, I get it. Yo,
he's great.
Layla.
Yeah, he's a Los Angeles guy.
Yeah, Layla Rose, Cameron Jordan, Plain Jane Records. Like, yo, man, it's gonna be an amazing time, man. So, just to see this on IG, and then they have a Twitch channel as well. I'm like, yo, man, like I wish I'm gonna get there, man, this year. That's gonna be on my bucket list. I'm gonna add that to the list as soon as I get done. Add that to the list, bro.
Yeah, and that goes for anyone too. Anybody out of town that wants to come. A lot of people, if you want to do a tour and hit Los Angeles and do a show in Los Angeles, this is another one. It's it's a 2-hour drive out, depending on where you are in the city, but anybody that's going to come down and wants to add another show to that list, hit us up. Feel free to DM us at that page, or just DM anyone that's involved with it, really, and we'll get you set up on a lineup, and we'll work with you on dates and stuff like that.
Excellent, man. DIY residency every third or fourth Saturday. Yo, man. So I usually ask this to everybody, man, but the beat scene in California, you already know, is crazy bananas, man. Like, what's the beat scene like where you are? I think you're in Los Angeles, right? So what is it like in that area? What's the feeling like when they have all of these different things going on, man?
It's crazy, man. It's electric. I mean, I could tell everybody that I've named so far, plus I could keep going all day. Didn't even probably say, Press Morris, Solace is another one. There's people that have been around for a minute that are, still doing shows, like Naj. Burnin' Giraffe is one of the first guys I came out and saw or talked to when I first came out here. And he played Low End Theory. So those kind of Low End Theory people are still around. Daddy Kev still does Scenario every fucking Wednesday. Shout out to Switson, just played it. Beat Cinema is really there's one every month. It's, the last one I went to, they had DB down and Twami.
Oh,
yeah, it was it was electric. I mean, we didn't get in at first. Like they had a line outside, and it was a club downtown. It's a small place, but we all in different parts of the country have had the experience of playing a beat show and being like, man, if you guys knew what we were doing right now, you'd be fucking losing your shit. You just don't know. People don't know what it is. Right. And having to deal with shitty venues that are like, oh, is anybody going to come? And you're like, I don't know if they're going to come, to be honest. But it's so inspiring to then see, okay, Melody Lounge on a Wednesday night, downtown in Chinatown, Los Angeles, packed out of the door. Bar sales are probably crazy. There's a line, or Scenario. Every time I go down, they'll have open aux. So I've played open aux with Daedalus performing later. Another crazy inspiration. Someone I've, worshiped. And Eloquent, another guy, one of the best. I mean, he should be on my top 5. So you're playing an open aux, and then one of your favorites is playing, and it's downtown Los Angeles, packed, bar sales going crazy, and that's the feeling. It's like I've never really been anywhere else where that's going on, to be honest, besides here. So that's what it's like. And that could be any night. That could be tomorrow. That could be, whenever, really.
Man, so much happening, man, in California, man. And it's so much happening all over the country as well, man. It's stuff happening in Chicago. B4 Lasers was a guest on the show, man. So he does DuckWorld.
He's great.
In Chicago, and then you got Donut Lounge that happens in New York. It happens in
Houston is another one. I don't know if you know any of the other people down there. I'm playing Beat Circuit probably in March, and Couch Loaf Records. I don't know if you know Doc Wava.
I don't. I'm gonna figure it out though, man. I didn't even know something was happening.
There's a lot Houston. In Texas, man. Yeah, there's a lot of guys in Texas. Orlando still. I mean, we are still throwing crazy shows in Orlando. There's still. I'll go back and be like, damn, this. It's a lot bigger even when I was there because it just keeps growing. People keep. There's new producers there all the time.
Yo, man.
The whole scene. That's not in California. I'm just talking about Los Angeles because the Bay scene and even the guys in Sacramento are all crazy. I mean, I know you had a couple of them on too.
Yeah, man. Yo, you've been on Flipabeatclub collaboration tapes. You know how they, if you perform and actually come to the Zooms or actually make a beat at the different venues that they have, which they have one going on right now.
Oh yeah, literally tonight.
Literally, like I left this one. I left Flipabeatclub and then I came for the interview, man. So I was like, yo, so much heat, so much inspiration from, DiBiase, Maz Rock putting that together, 12's Wax and everybody. And then they got the different chapters and stuff too, man. So I love it.
Key.
Yeah, man. Matty J, Taki, like, yo, man. Yo, man, I'm crazy inspired, man. Like the inspiration is on a different level. But before I let you go, man, I gotta ask you about Please Let Me In Your Cult. You got an album coming out in 2023, February 10th, man. Please Let Me In Your Cult. Tell me about this with Schematic Music Company, yo.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick, man, because I'll just fucking talk all day about all this stuff. But first of all, Schematic is a legendary label. They brought a lot of really experimental musicians from back in the day. A lot of people that were big in Europe that their first releases were on Schematic in America, and they're out of Miami, Florida, and they have tapes. I mean, they have a whole bunch of tapes. My good friend Plurble is on there. I mastered his last tape on there. Black Ant is really who put me onto it. He's out in Fresno right now, but he's from South Florida. And Ashtray Jenkins has been on it. Richard Devine's been on it. So they're great. They're a great label. I'm doing the tape with them. Please Let Me In Your Cult is really a collection of like the songs that I was playing out in Los Angeles that got the best reaction. Really, that's what it is the songs that I played and people went, damn. And so I cut away all the other shit and just had on those songs, and then two that I felt were a little emotional but like fit the vibe. And the whole idea of Please Let Me In Your Cult is just kind of this idea of like Hollywood and the like appeal of Hollywood and the sort of like glamour of it, while also being this like what people really believe is a like sacrificial cult, basically, where they're doing all these crazy blood rituals and nonsense, and they're driving the country in this crazy direction. Whether or not any of that's true, it's just, I think it's funny that people believe that, and then still, though, they're like, they all want to be a celebrity. Everybody does a little bit. And I just think that's funny because from living here, and I live in Burbank too, which is part of Los Angeles. It's surrounded by Los Angeles, but it's technically a little enclave, and it's where a lot of media companies are and stuff like that. And my day job is in post production and localization on TV and stuff like that. And so I see a lot of people that are trying to be chosen, and I just thought that idea is just so funny, and it's just the opposite of really what I'm trying to do out here. I'm not going to people to be chosen and trying to get in with people in clout chase for like and fame, but just coming here and being like, why is there such good music from here, and connecting with the underground and connecting with these people and really making something really good. So Please Let Me in Your Cult is kind of like a joke. It's kind of like, could you imagine, like I was actually trying to like, get in with celebrity and fame and stuff like that. And it's really like a love letter to the LA scene. And in the insert of the J card is a thank you note to everybody that we've mentioned, all the affiliations, the Burgers and Beats, the DuckWorld, the fucking, Beat Cinema. Beat Cinema was my first show, and it was with fucking Oma, who is one of my favorite beatmakers ever.
Wow.
And they put me on that. So shout out to them. And the songs that I played at those venues that had the best response were the ones that got trimmed up and put in that love letter back to the scene. So it's all about, Los Angeles, really, in my experience here in the first year or so since I've been here. So, yeah,
nice.
That's it.
Yeah, yo, I thought it was, I was like, please let me in your coat. I was like, what? But now that you broke it down, I was like, okay, he was like, please let me in your coat. But then as you read, as I'm listening to you tell it, I'm like, oh, okay, now this makes sense. Because at first, when you look at the cover art and then you look at the title, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's kind of shocking, which is the idea. It's kind of like this kind of grab you thing, like, it's a little bit of like a shock, piece of shock art, with the face mask and the red and Hollywood in the background and shit like that.
Yeah. You crazy. See, when you think about it, like a whole bunch of different elements that you just put on this one shot for the album cover, man. It speaks volumes, man. Just every single element, man. That's dope, man. Yo, y'all go support Please Let Me in Your Cult. Your boy Pax. I'm gonna link this.
Right.
Yeah, on pre-order right now, man. I'm gonna link this in the description of the show as well. Schematic Music Company, man. Miami, Florida-based company, man. I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the cassette because I like collecting cassettes right now.
They're high quality too. This company is really good, and I have one that we did with Chill Tapes, real DIY, and I love it to death. But I'm really excited for the imprint on the laser cut, and it's gonna come wrapped up in plastic and shit like that. So
yeah, man. Y'all get y'all's album, man. And then last two questions before I let you go, man. Right, so your boy Pax, man, I gotta ask you, what's the one thing you wish you knew before you started making music, yo?
I think I wish I knew. I think this is something I tell people too, where you think you're not good at music, but you're really just not good at tools yet. And I think I wish I told myself that earlier when I was making things and comparing them to stuff. And I was like, it's like, I didn't understand what an EQ was, really. I didn't understand the frequency spectrum. I didn't understand, sound design. I didn't understand, dynamics, not just on a micro level, but on a macro level with like, okay, is this song hit you in certain parts and go away? So I would, even though I was like, man, I know how to make music, I get Ableton, I understand, I'm maybe like 2 or 3, 4 years in, and I'm making good stuff, but it just doesn't sound the same. I wish I told myself at that time, learn about mixing, learn about engineering and mastering and stuff like that, and understand what you're actually doing when you pull up some preset or something like that. And I think I would have started getting better earlier if I did something different than what I did do, which is basically to say, oh, I don't need to learn how to mix. Like, it's gonna sound shitty, but people will like it, so it won't matter. I wish I started that journey earlier than when I actually did, because that, just like making music, is a lifelong journey of learning and getting more information. You're never gonna know how to mix. I mean, you still will always be learning, and old guys are still learning, you know, because more technology is coming out every single day that they don't know about, you know.
Nice, yo. Dad, man, I wanted to ask you this before we sign off, man. You are a plugin designer, man, and you got a plugin called Pax Delay. You had a Pax Delay and then Pax Delay 2, which is the newest one, man. Can you talk about the Pax Delay VST and, you know, who would be like who is made for, basically?
Right. So the first one, the Pax Delay VST, was made using Pure Data, which is like Max for Live. It's kind of the same thing. It's a visual programming language, and that's wrapped into a VST. This one is another one where I'm still learning C++. So this one was done in C Sound, which is another programming language that's more dedicated towards audio and music, and then that's wrapped into a VST. But the newest one, the Pax Delay 2, is way more rock solid and versatile, and there's more. It's easier to deal with than the Pure Data one, because Pure Data is just notoriously finicky. So this one is more rock solid, but the idea of it is a sort of a way to use delays that I learned a while ago, and my YouTube video, my hi-hat techniques video, kind of touches on this, where I found I started having better hi-hat swings and better sort of like swings is by using delays instead of painting out that eighth note, right? So that's kind of where the idea started, where I was like, okay, how do I recreate what I have been doing, which is putting that eighth note delay on and then sending an LFO into that time on a tape model delay so that it'll wiggle, and so you'll have a pitch effect in between the quarter notes while that eighth note is changing in time. And that is like, that became my sound really, and your friend Paxton, like that's in everything pretty much. That sort of texture of things coming in different directions from the hi-hats or whatever got fed into that modulated tape delay. So the Pax Delay 1 was just a simple kind of implementation of that, of a modulated tape delay. And then Pax Delay 2 is me going, okay, but what would make this even better? So there's a way to sync up that delay with the BPM. There's also different sort of styles of LFO. There's also filters, so you can filter out. There's a dry gain, wet gain, a lo-fi option that'll, do a subtle bit crush to it, and then a widening option that'll widen it subtly, and then a granular mode, which goes one step further, and you have a granular delay, which is sort of like a clouds modular synth kind of thing, where you're taking little granules and putting them in different parts of the frequency spectrum and in different parts of the stereo field. So it becomes something where it can just be a delay. I mean, you could just put it on a synth and have it just ring out as a delay. But it can also be this sort of sound design experimental tool where you are putting in something and it's coming out totally different because of the granulation and the modulating that's happening with the time on the delay. I don't know if that's too much at once to make sense, but it's a cool tool, and I'll explain it more. I got to make more videos about it. I got to explain it all to people so people know it's not just your stock delay in Ableton. It's something else, something extra that you might actually want. So I hope that makes sense.
That's what we do here, man. Like, we talk the language of the mutants, man. So
yeah, technical. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we do here, man. Like, I understand a little bit of what you're saying as far as delay and swing and everything like that. And I'm still learning. Everybody listening to this podcast is still learning as well. But I feel like, I think you might be the first one that I've interviewed that has created VSTs plugins, man. So congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Just trying to do what other people aren't doing, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are people like? Not everybody has figured out how to do that yet. So it's like, I'm still a little bit early, whereas everything else, people have been doing this for years. publicly a lot of people, so it's hard to stand out, you know.
Gotcha.
But this is one way I think I do.
Yeah, I think you do, man. Yo, yourboypax.com is where you can find that VST plugin or the VST plugins. Name the fair price, man. Go ahead, add it to your toolkit for your, you know what I mean, for your beats and stuff like that. Yo, man, I gotta ask you, man, for we in 2023, about the January is about to come to a close that quick. What should the internets look out for from your boy Pax, man, and how can the internets tap into you and your music and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, always, follow me on Spotify, so when I drop something, it'll come out for you. And I'm mostly on Instagram. Like, that's mostly where people get contacted with me on stuff, and that's where I post everything. But to look out for in the future is Please Let Me In Your Cult, obviously coming out on cassette. I think it's February 10th on streaming. Then I'm finishing up my second collab tape, which is going to be Notes from the Underground 2. There's already Notes from the Underground 1. That's out with a bunch of Beatmakers. Some of them have been on here already. And then what else, man? I think I got a tape with Black Ant. We're still finishing. I got a tape with the BFG and Naja Head where he's rapping on it. And that's going to be fucking crazy because he's a great rapper. He's going to go by a different name, though, because of course. And that's it for releases. I'll be out in Houston mid-March. And other than that, I'll be in California. I'll be out in Los Angeles doing shows and out in Ontario and around. So I'll be around, There'll be new stuff soon.
Got you, man. Yo, we are excited. I'm excited for what you got coming out, man. I'm definitely tapped in, man. You definitely got a new supporter from me. And I know everybody that's going to listen to this episode from now or Sunday into the future, man, they going to be tapped in as well, man. So I'm definitely supporting what you got going on. Everybody that's listening to the show, go ahead, tap into his Bandcamp, tap into the Spotify, tap into the website, yourboypax.com, man. Go ahead, check him out. Your boy Pax, any final thoughts for anybody, the listeners, anything like that?
Nothing, man. I like I said, I'll keep going all day, but I'll let y'all off. Thanks to you, man. I really appreciate you having me on and really giving people a platform and supporting the culture. I think it's some of my favorite people have been on this, and I won't give anything away about Tatsumaki's next release, but because I did do the mastering on it, but that's coming out soon. And in some ways, you'll see how this podcast has sort of influenced not just him, but like the community in general. And so thanks to you, it might not show in the numbers, compared to some other podcasts, but for the people that know about this one, and it's really something special. So thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man. So that is the episode number 79 of the Rec Show podcast with my special guest, your boy Pax, man. This is the second one of season 3, man. Go ahead, check out season 1, season 2, and stay tuned all year, man. We got some dope, amazing mutants coming to the show to grace us with their stories and, their influences and, just jewels, man, and community. That's what this show is all about, man. So listen, your boy Pax, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Keep doing your thing. Everybody out there, keep doing your thing, man. Don't worry about nothing else. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right, man. Just look forward. Work. Keep building what you want to build, man. And everything's gonna work out. All right. So I go by the name of David Goldemine Hicks. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And I hope y'all have a good week. Run this back, man. That's how we gonna do it, man. I hope everybody count their blessings and not their problems. You know what I mean? Yo, peace and love, yo.
You already know.